Okay, so here's the story of my railway book. I have a friend who works for the railroad. She's, I don't know exactly what she does, but she travels all over the place. She goes to Fort Worth, Texas all the time, and she was recently there, and she was texting me images of books that she'd found that she thought I might be interested in. She picks for me at estate sales. So anyway, she had bought a bunch of stuff for me and brought it over. It was wrapping paper and cards and a couple of books, and in it was a letterhead and envelope for the Empire Builder, which is a train that I believe still runs from Chicago to the West Coast. Don't quote me on that, I could be wrong. But anyway, I was like, this is really sweet. I think I have to do a book about the railway. So, as always happens, things just fell in place. Madison and Susie started selling a lot of railway stuff. And I was like, okay, here we go. So I went on eBay looking for a book. And I found this, the Ghost Train. I thought, oh, that'll be so cool. That's just perfect. It's got really nice dust cover, and I'll do it. So I order it, pay for it, get it. It's so small. I was so disappointed. I was like, oh man, this is not gonna work. So I set it aside and I just started collecting. And then I was in my local thrift store that I love, and I happened to find this book for dirt cheap. And I was like, perfect, because it goes all the way around the back. It's just beautiful. I mean, it's a little beat up, but it's vintage. It's from, you know, early part of the 1900s. So there you go. I'm off to the races. Funnily enough, after I finished this book and decided I just couldn't get rid of it yet because I love it so much, I thought, well, I'll just buy another one, because I can usually do that on eBay. Well, I went on eBay and I ripped apart a book that somebody on eBay is trying to sell for $100. And the cheapest one I could find on eBay was like 60. So I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have ripped apart this book. But I don't regret it. I love it. So anyway, here it is. Isn't that cool? It's just so beautiful. So I started collecting all this railway stuff, and here we go. And again, I've put in the information about the book. These are from Mad Fox, little tidbits from Madison. I tried to buy a stamp from her recently, but there was a little snafu, and so she ended up having to give it to the first person who wanted it, which was totally fine with me. But she occasionally stamps little numbers and stuff for me. So this is all, I'm not going to take all this stuff out because it's packed full of stuff from Railway Adventures. I have a couple of those old timey label makers, Dymo, something like that. You can pick them up cheap everywhere. And so yeah, I had this in my collection, my photograph collection. Decided to, oh, here we go, I'll use this. So this is the letterhead that I was talking about originally, the Empire Builder. So this was the little sheet of paper that started this whole railway thing. So postage stamps. This is one of those spines I was talking about in an earlier video, where you just take the signatures away from the spine and you're left with this really beautiful textured piece of ephemera. Collection of buttons that I just love. I can't get rid of them. My circles and circle maps. Just little bits of, oh, and here's the envelope to the Empire Builder. I'm not sure what I have inside. Oh, washi tape, which I have a love-hate relationship with because it's really so beautiful, but it just never sticks for me. I don't like it when things come down. So anyway, all this paper that I've purchased has been primarily from Susie Blankenship at Paper Harbor Co. Company. Paper Harbor Co. is her Instagram. I'll include this stuff all in the description. Another railway card. And then Madison over at Mad Fox Studios. So I love them. They sell every week, and every week I say I'm not going to buy, and every week I buy. I discovered this in a basket of cigarette cards at a very vintage market in Shoreline, 50 cents. I love when I find stuff like that. So all these papers from the railway system. And this is my old tea-stained vintage paper. And I was going through my photos again, and I found this woman getting ready to get on a train in the 1920s. Love it. This is actually bus tickets, but I bought them from Susie because Chester in the UK is kind of in the region where my family is from. And I can remember as a child, the conductor would come around and you would pay, and he would wind his little bus thingy and rip off a ticket for you. So, you know, the memories were like, I can remember being with my grandmother and my brother, and it was so visceral. I think I might have made a tag out of that. I'm not sure. I don't want to take it off though, because I don't want to ruin it. I bought these white tags years ago, and I thought they were so bright and white, little like garment tags. And I just dunked them in tea with food coloring. I did green, blue, red, and came out with various shades of green, pink, and light blue. I'm on the tail end of these. I did it a long time ago. This is what I'm talking about. Madison did for me. She just took the stamp and stamped all over these bits of papers that I bought from her and sent me all this stuff that I could use in my railway books. So thank you so much. And then there's another railway stuff. This is from a travel card. I think it's called Touring is the game. So, and you see it, there you go. Isn't she beautiful? She did that for me. I was like, oh, I can let it go. It's fine. There'll be another one someday. Trains over the mountains, over the plains, over the rivers. Here come the trains. Oh, I did this with my scraps. Can't really see. The lighting is not fabulous here. Sorry. It's a great day here in Seattle, but I'm home alone and the house is quiet, which is never happens. So I'm upstairs trying to film. This is another example of end paper, which is actually still attached to a little bit of the spine. I love stuff like that. Just little teeny details like that. They make me happy. So here we go. More stuff. I hate to keep harping on about those orphan earrings, but man, guys, it's the cheapest and funnest way to make charms for your junk journals. Low effort, just really fun. Here's a bunch of vintage text from foreign books, contemporary railway postcard from my collection. This is one of my little collage-y things. This, I think, is the first one I did. End papers from the books. The spine from the books. A ticket from some like bus or train or something like that. And like I said, I have lots of photographs of these beautiful women and handsome young men in their hats that I'm starting to use. And then all these lovely white bone buttons and mother of pearl. They're just so fabulous. And this is from the packaging that Madison does. Taxi cab doesn't release. Oh, it's a train porter's tag for a station at the taxi cab, which is cool. They don't do this stuff anymore. Everything's digital. Oh, and here's my little vintage wrapping paper things that I love to do. So, yeah, so anyway, and I just like fold and this is a little boy sitting in a train. This is over in Wenatchee. Illustration. I ripped out the words. I wanted to keep the words and here's that damn washi tape. Just doesn't want to stick. Sorry. Isn't this big, huge tag fabulous? I love it. I don't think I'm going to be able to let this book go. It's going to be painful. So. Another girl getting ready to go on a trip. But look at the luggage. Isn't the luggage cool? MRS. These are the kind of things that I like to include. You can relocate them and use them for writing. And as I've gotten more into this junk journaling, I have left more blank space for the specific reason that people would write in these, you know. Oh, my tummy's growling. I'm sorry if I'm making noise. And I always save any writing from the fronts of the books. This is Maud. Who knew someday she'd end up in some stranger's book? This is contemporary paper mixed with vintage paper, but some of the patterns are just kind of fun, and you could, you know, rip it apart, include it in another junk journal, or just leave it because it's pretty colors. General passenger agent. I like to do envelopes. They make easy pockets. I don't generally endorse any particular contemporary vendor, and I actually do try to avoid this particular person because I see his stuff everywhere. But I do buy these little teeny paper clips of his, and you guys all know who I'm talking about. So Tim Holtz, I'm giving you props today. Most of your stuff I don't like because it's everywhere and it's just so overdone, and I'm being a snob. I'm fully aware of that, and I apologize to all you fans of his stuff, but there's just so much vintage stuff that you can use and to make something that nobody else has ever made. You know, don't be afraid to do your own thing, I guess is my deal. So, as I said, I apologize if you adore him. I don't. I mean, it doesn't take that much time to buy your own black and white photograph and make your own paper doll. So, anyway, off the soapbox now. So, again, this journal is not finished. There's plenty of room to continue to add to it. But, and this is the dedication from the original book on the inside. It's not handwritten. It is printed, but there you go. That is the last one for the day. And thank you so much for watching. And as I have said over and over again, do your own thing. Save all this stuff from landfills. Have fun. And if you want to order a piece from me, please feel free to contact me. Thanks. Bye.